The border between novel and history, fiction and fact.
This is how the story of the Three Kingdoms begins. In a garden overflowing with peach blossoms, three heroes raise their wine cups and swear an oath. Though we were not born on the same day, we wish to die on the same day. Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei, the oath of sworn brotherhood, the oath of the Peach Garden. But is this truly a historical fact?
Part 1. The Yellow Turban Rebellion.
In the novel, the three heroes immediately take the stage. Zhang Jue, who performs mysterious sorcery, and the slogan, "The azure sky has perished, the yellow sky shall rise." The entire land is engulfed in the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei are portrayed as heroes from the very start, pacifying this rebellion. However, Liu Bei's presence was insignificant. The main figures in suppressing the Yellow Turbans were the government armies, dispatched by the court and well-known generals. In the novel, the story describes Liu Bei's forces defeating the Yellow Turban rebels attacking Yuzhou, with Zhang Fei killing the rebel general Qing Yuanji and Guan Yu slaying Deng Mao. This Battle of Yuzhou is a fictional event created by the author Luo Guanzhong to provide a dramatic debut scene for the three sworn brothers' first major achievement. In conclusion, the Battle of Yuzhou between Liu Bei and the Yellow Turbans is a fictional battle, described in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, that did not take place in actual history. The historical text, Records of the Three Kingdoms, only records that when the Yellow Turban Rebellion broke out, Liu Bei raised a volunteer army to assist the imperial forces and earned merit in various battles. The novel also describes the Yuzhou inspector dispatching Liu Bei to rescue Qingzhou after the city is besieged by the Yellow Turbans. Liu Bei, along with Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, leads his army to Qingzhou, where they repel the Yellow Turban rebels besieging the city and save it. However, historically, the Yellow Turban rebels in the Qingzhou region surrendered to Cao Cao around 192 CE and were absorbed into his army as the Qingzhou army. There is no record in historical texts of Liu Bei directly defeating them during this period. In conclusion, while it is true that Liu Bei was active against the Yellow Turbans, the descriptions of large-scale battles in specific regions found in Romance of the Three Kingdoms are fictional and not historical facts.
Part 2. The Oath of the Peach Garden.
The opening scene of the novel is so famous. Liu Bei and the two generals swear a brotherhood under a peach tree. This scene has become a symbol of the Three Kingdoms narrative. However, there is no record of the Oath of the Peach Garden. In the historical records of the Three Kingdoms, there is only a brief mention that Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei always moved together from the beginning. In other words, the Oath of the Peach Garden was a creation by the later author Luo Guanzhong. It was a literary device intended to portray Liu Bei as a ruler of benevolence and Guan Yu and Zhang Fei as righteous warriors.
Part 3. The realities of the characters and their weapons.
In the novel, Guan Yu is the personification of loyalty and martial prowess. However, in historical records, Guan Yu was just one of many generals, a figure who was later deified and worshipped as Lord Guan. What about Zhang Fei? In the novel, he is a man of heroic loyalty, but historical records show that he was unable to properly control his subordinates due to his drunkenness and violent temper. Likewise, Liu Bei is depicted as a personification of virtue in the novel, but in actual history, he was a realistic and meticulous politician. He was a person with a strong survival instinct, more than a man of virtue. And these characters are even assigned symbolic weapons: Guan Yu's green dragon crescent blade, Zhang Fei's serpent spear, and Lu Bu's halberd. However, there are no records of these weapons in the historical texts. Weapons of this type did not even exist at the time and were developed much later, after the Song Dynasty. The weapons actually used on the battlefield at the time were common ones such as spears, swords, and bows. The green dragon crescent blade and halberd were symbols created later in martial arts and plays. In other words, these spectacular weapons were not history, but rather a legacy left by literature and the stage. The Three Kingdoms is a story built from layers of fiction and fact. The Oath of the Peach Garden, the Yellow Turban Rebellion, the heroic tales in the novel, and the historical records are different in these ways. However, within that difference, we can understand the Three Kingdoms in a new light. In the next episode, we will expose the fiction of the honey trap with Dongzhuo and Diaochan.